For God's sake, Josh, put your pants back on. That's not the kind of exposed they were talking about.
That was my jam. I was jamming.
Hey up, Sofa Squad, and we are back with a special Partygate edition of On the Sofa with the usual suspects: Godless Sewing, aka Will, Artemis Brain Sample, and Siamese.
Sup, fuckers, fuckettes, and fucks of the non-binary variety.
and
party.
We've got a lot to talk about. It's been a big week for news here in the UK.
A lot of great adjectives being thrown around.
Yes.
Okay, so really quick, I have a really crappy haiku I wrote last night at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Do I want to know why you were writing haikus at 3 o'clock in the morning?
Because I smoked the good stuff.
Yeah,
okay, it's really crappy, but it's funny, okay? Party Marty, monkeypox, fighting puking, wine on walls. I know Mike gets it. I know Mike.
Yeah, that's not a haiku.
That's not even a haiku. That doesn't even follow the fucking syllable structure.
I was kidding.
I was going to say that's got to be the part of it that sucks. Because the poem is fine, but as a haiku, it's horrible because it's not a haiku.
Hey, don't make me get Sam Kennison, all right? These are the jokes, all right? These are. I was kidding. It was not a haiku. I went to the Los Angeles
here's a crappy haiku. Josh is very gay. Mike should cover his butthole. Josh, put your pants on.
But Mike, the second I heard Party Marty, that is the name of my next punk band.
I would think it would be the title of your next crappy porno.
That too.
Party Marty on the wall.
So, have any of you read the Sue Gray report?
Wine on the walls. This just makes me go back to Quality Inn.
I did. I did that. I would just like to say, you guys have really crappy politicians, but I would party with Boris Johnson and cokehead Michael Gove and get in a fight with all of them. They sound like
it's not coke; it's piles of dandruff.
So
they
party really hard.
Yeah, they sure do.
I'd party with them, maybe. Although I don't do coke or any drugs. I'm a good noob.
I could have skim read it, but I read the highlights. I mean, it's about 60 pages, and I have ADHD. And I get very bored very quickly, so I couldn't quite read all of it, but I read some of it. I read the highlights, and
lovely.
Yeah, there's some juicy highlights, and the Mirror.
Oh yeah, juicy. All right.
Has very kindly written an article, highlighting, giving us 9 bombshell findings with 4 a.m. party, vomiting, fight, and wine on walls.
Do you know, I used to hang out with my cousin all the time, and when we were drinking, after about the 4th or 5th day, we would always end up on the front lawn in a fist fight.
Why the front lawn, and what were the fist fights about?
That's some white trash shit.
We were petty. No, and the funny thing is, my cousin is a 6'2" Irish, half Mexican white guy, so it is extremely trashy.
It's a wonder he wasn't too drunk to fight.
when people are emotional and arrogant, they get in fist fights because they think, oh, you didn't hear what I said, so now I'm gonna fight you because I'm drunk and arrogant.
That sounds about right. Although for me, I get in fights when I'm drunk because, well, it depends on what I drink. Actually,
I think it's ridiculous though. Like let's be real. Don't be mean to your staff. I don't care how much who you think you are. Don't be mean to the people below you because they're gonna tell on you.
Yeah.
That really ticks me off. Like I could see Jacob Rees-Mogg like wiping his hands on the staff's shirt or something, or just being a complete arse about it, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that you're going out of your way to say arse.
The article says this. This is from The Mirror by Dan Bloom, online political editor. It's 6 months since The Mirror's Pippa Crerar revealed brazen boozing during lockdown at the heart of government. Now a 37-page report by Whitehall ethics investigator Sue Gray has proven much of our reporting was spot on and demanded Boris Johnson bear responsibility. There was wine on the walls, vomiting, a fight, a back exit cover-up, prior planning of parties, and a lack of respect for cleaners and security staff.
Okay, back exit cover-up, insert joke here.
No, they stayed up all night before Count Chocula's funeral. Excuse me. And they acted like complete morons. And I'm telling you, like, I've gone to funerals for people I don't like. I go in the back and shut my mouth and I don't say anything.
Oh yeah.
But
You go in the back?
Yeah, I'm famous for it. Don't type in Will go in the back in any search engine.
Oh my god. Well,
Will in the back.
I you know what? I think I'll defer to the resident expert on back doors here, Josh.
I can't help it. I had mirror, mirror, wine on the wall going through my head.
Dude, I hear wine on the walls and I immediately think of, okay, so does everybody remember, Artie probably won't because Artie didn't know me when I worked at Quality Inn. I had an incident when I worked at Quality Inn where I had to throw out this drunk fighting couple, and as was customary, when I would throw somebody out during an overnight shift, I immediately went and inspected the room as soon as they were gone, and I found evidence of wine throwing all over this room.
Oh, right, yeah.
There was wine on the wall, there was wine on the AC unit, there was wine in the sink, wine on the lampshade, wine on the fucking curtains.
Well,
so I think of this fucking wine on the walls and it gives me war flashbacks.
Yeah, but imagine that these are your leaders.
Yeah.
Acting like a bunch of 17-year-olds whose parents went out of town.
Okay, but that doesn't shock me at this point.
That does shock me. I have never been around people of any significant adult age that weren't able to handle the liquor like these people can't handle their high. Yeah. Never been around people that were that fucked. I mean, even when Xanax became a thing that you took at midnight and then went to bed at 7:00, those people did not throw up or start fights or start throwing alcohol around like it was.
Who the fuck were you partying with then?
Trust me, there was plenty of cocaine.
I still party with people like that. They're called adults. That's why I get so annoyed when people like over 40 act dumb in the first place.
Yeah, it was bad enough when you were 18. You're fucking 40. Stop it.
I mean, I'm 28, and most of the people I party with, when I even bother to party at all, have calmed the hell down.
Yeah, you know, I'll give you we survived.
I'll give you a perfect example. Like on my block, we have giant block parties, and I've noticed that they've stopped inviting the people that pass out on the front lawn. They've stopped inviting their friends from on the other side of town. Like, as the years go on, the party dwindles down to people who can actually handle what they're doing. You know.
I was famous for all of the neighborhood parties we had. I was famous for just vanishing because I knew when to go home. I just wouldn't tell anybody I was leaving.
The last real party I went to was probably the impromptu party that got thrown here earlier this month when I was about to go to bed and my friends barged in. And I'm never having a fucking party in my house again because somebody was drunk and backed into my car.
Did they say? Oh, sorry.
Other things happened that. Well, there goes my day.
Did they say who was puking on people, like they're in a 1990s punk band? Because like all those action
movie.
This I need to know. I want names.
It reminds me of something from like a butt rock band or like a hair band from the 80s trashes a hotel room.
Yeah.
They weren't running a country. Do you know that when these people come walking out of Downing Street, they're holding red files and red letters? Those hold the entire country's fate in their hands, and these idiots are drinking with lampshades on their head and getting in fistfights. You know?
Hey! Drinking with a lampshade on your head is fun.
I'd be scared. Yeah, it is. You know what? I'm going to tell you, I run a business, and for as irresponsible as I am, I know when to hold them and fold them. If you saw me at work, you'd be like, "Who's that guy?" I'm a different person. I handle my business, and then life is like a mullet: business in the front, party in the back.
That is like, you know what? No. Life is not like a mullet because people don't make fun of you for, you know what?
If you live properly, people should be.
Mullets are something to make fun of, not compare to life.
My whole point is, these are not the actions of people that I would want in charge. And another thing, if you are dumb enough to get caught, then you do not deserve to be in power.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, they were brazen. They brazenly discussed parties and bragged, "We got away with it." The report is stuffed with examples of staff openly discussing events that appeared to be against COVID rules. The most brazen, an email from top aide Martin Reynolds inviting people to a 20th of May 2020 bring your own booze garden party, went to 200 staff, not 100 as previously reported.
First of all, once you're inviting 200 people, it's not a garden party anymore. That's a Project X party.
It's a big garden.
6 days before the bash, staff said a number 10 official will go out and get the booze, to which a colleague replied, "Sounds like a lot of fun. That's fine."
Well then.
How's it going, Brian Stevens? I don't know if it's true or not, but I saw on Sky News one of the commentators was like, "These guys don't know how to party because they were eating like store-bought sandwiches and boxed wine."
Yeah.
No, where I live, my local Vaunt actually makes excellent sandwiches. So
shut up, still nobody asked you.
I'll look beyond that, but as someone who doesn't drink anymore, even I look down at boxed wine.
No, box wine, as a former wine sales professional, box wine is like bottom of the barrel, or box, if you will.
There are good box wines now.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna break the law,
nobody asked you, Artie.
I'm just saying, if you're gonna disgrace your country and break the law, at least make it worth your while.
Yeah, I don't understand.
At least a nice cab sauv.
I don't understand having I don't understand adults having a party where somebody isn't cooking food and somebody isn't arranging. You've got 200 people showing up and you're not arranging to have alcohol delivered. You're going to have everybody stop by a liquor store on their way and bring a brown bag with them. What the fuck are you doing?
Well, the thing is, for huge parties, this is why the good Lord gave us pizza. Like, seriously. Order a shit ton from Domino's and go along your way.
Yeah, but much like the Lord COVID, hey Purple, much like the Lord, COVID destroyed the Lord and pizza because all the pizza places around here close at midnight now.
Hi, Purple.
So we no longer have 4 a.m. pizza. It was glorious when I could call Domino's at 4:30 in the morning and get a pizza.
I'm actually one order away from having enough points for a free pizza.
No, but again, to bring it back, I don't think, as human beings, we've lost perspective. And it's pretty gross that they're acting like this in office.
Yeah, it is.
I'm just saying. This is beyond. This is a big deal. And then today, and I might be, running ahead, but today they instantly started talking about the living of cost crisis in your country because they want to take away from this because they know that they could get kicked out of office for this.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Smoke screen.
But it goes on. One of Sue Gray's most damning findings was about number 10 security and cleaners who were reportedly teased for raising concerns over the parties. She wrote, I found that some staff had witnessed or been subjected to behaviors at work which they had felt concerned about, but at times felt unable to raise properly. I was made aware of multiple examples of a lack of respect and poor treatment of security and cleaning staff. This was unacceptable.
It goes back to the arrogance and the narcissism of these people.
The audacity of them all.
But this is the thing. You see, Boris Johnson, he went to Eton, and then on to Oxford, and within Oxford, he was part of this exclusive club called the Bulletin Club, where they would have parties and trash hotel rooms. And they would laugh at the cleaners who would have to clean up after them.
I can understand that shit, and I'm saying that as like a hotel employee. Public service announcement. It is disrespectful as fuck to housekeeping staff to be doing that shit. These are people with lives and families. Don't fucking dehumanize them that way.
Because I travel to Vegas a lot, it's not uncommon to give cleaning staff a tip. Like slip them a 20, or if I better.
People do that here. People do that here, but there comes a point where a tip just isn't fucking enough. Somebody's actually banned from one of my now 2 jobs where there's like blood and shit all over the room, and they thought it was okay because they left $20 for the housekeepers.
I hook them up exponentially.
If I dirty an ashtray.
And apparently Boris Johnson attended 8 of the 16 gatherings.
Oh boy.
I get it. The one thing that really burns me is that I live in Los Angeles County, okay? During the first actual lockdown, when I would go to work or drive to the dispensary or something, I would see no one on the streets. I live in an area where there's probably 15 million people, okay? And these idiots can't go by those same guidelines. And I live around a bunch of cholos and gangsters and
yeah, exactly.
And those people that you would look down on, but they can follow the rules,
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of makes me think that because of the way they were having these parties, like in the United States, at least when I was in college, it was kind of a thing to throw a white trash party where everybody would dress in a wife beater and everybody bring a case of Natty Light and
I want to
sit around and play cornhole.
That sounds
play
fun.
Cornhole and work boots and shorts, shit like that.
Natural ice was amazing.
Can we not talk about holes right now? I have a very, I'm a very frustrated, very gay man sitting over in front of my bed that is getting very frustrated because he hasn't had enough opportunities to hit on Mike.
But there was apparently these parties were crowded and noisy, according to the reports. And I don't know if any of you guys saw the Panorama documentary about the parties.
Uh-oh.
But Laura Kuenssberg, one of the political editor at the BBC, she was interviewing people who attended these parties, and they had their faces blacked out, and their voices, the voices were dubbed over by actors
because they deserve that.
And
anonymity.
They were saying, people were shoulder to shoulder at these parties, and in some cases even sitting on each other's laps
and faces.
Probably.
Did Boris Johnson catch COVID?
He did, yeah.
Gee,
and he learned nothing.
Exactly. And there was red wine on the walls, and apparently there's red wine found on some photocopy paper boxes as well.
God, this is hurting my soul. Hearing about all this disrespect to wine.
Were they trying to make more wine by making copies of it?
It just makes me laugh. Like,
Artie, go over there in the corner.
Jesus there.
Go sit in the corner and think about how terrible that joke was.
They had a Jesus that they got from Wish, and it was trying to turn copy paper into wine, and that's as close as it got.
Oh my God!
They were just wanting box wine. They said, "There's a box. Hey, Wish.com Jesus, get over here. Turn this box into box wine."
And
Wish.com Jesus. Just when I think your jokes can't get any stupider.
Oh, come on, that was a great joke.
That was so stupid. I felt my brain cells die and come back to life. And Jesus. I was just watching Pet Cemetery before we started here, so you know what? The ground my brain cells went into was sour. From hearing that joke.
Another party had vomiting and a fight. Now I would have loved to be a fly on the wall for that party.
No, I don't think you would have liked to be a fly on the wall because you would have had wine thrown on you.
I'm dying to know who got in the fight, because if it was like Jacob Rees-Mogg and like Sajid, what's his face, they'd be slap fighting like this, like I am dying to know who got in that fight.
Yeah, honestly, inquiring minds here too.
They just don't seem like people that would square up to me. They seem like they're again arrogance. I come from entitled people, so I understand where they're coming from. Like, how dare you question me being a complete idiot and blah blah blah. Like, I get it.
You think you're a bigger idiot than me? I'll show you how much bigger of an idiot I am than you.
Just strike me as hooligans.
It doesn't name names. It just says minor altercation between two
minor altercation. That's too vague, man. I need details. I watch hockey. If I want to hear about a fight, I want blood.
Hey, man, they've been scrapping every game lately. Ever since something happened in COVID, I think it's because people were so cramped up. Man, it's back to like 1980s hockey.
Yeah,
there's a brawl in every game now. Every time.
The party on the day of Philip's funeral finished at 4:20 in the morning.
That's about right.
4:20, huh?
That's usually when most everybody has quit doing cocaine about 3 hours ago, and they're ready now. They're not capable of driving home.
Am I wrong?
And if it's 4:20, they're probably lighting a joint or something to.
Is that the night Count Chocula died?
Yeah.
Who is Count Chocula?
Yeah. You don't know Count Chocula?
I'm from the UK, and I know who Count Chocula is.
No, Frankenberry is. And Booberry. Booberry was my favorite.
It's not Philip. It's was it Philip? No, I can't remember his name now. He was so scary towards the end of his life. I live in a my
Speaking of
entire
end of
family is
life-
nothing but senior citizens. So I'm trying not to be
Speaking of
too
end of
mean.
lives, Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ray Liotta is one of those people you look at him and you're like, yeah, he looks like a like he's in the mafia,
Yeah,
you know.
He looks like he's actually doing that much cocaine.
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Confession time. I've never seen Goodfellas.
Yeah, that's on your list. Then that one is almost mandatory viewing for.
I'm gonna start
English
slamming
speakers.
my phone like he did in the movie.
And Andy Fletcher from Depeche Mode passed away.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, what happened?
The,
Did that break?
the keyboardist from Depeche Mode, Andy Fletcher, died age 60.
Jeez, I didn't realize I was that close to their age.
Josh was in tears when I told him about Ray Liotta. Literally tears. Not like ugly crying, I dropped the pie tears. But
yeah, we've got Purple with us.
Hey,
Purple!
Thomas, she just said Thomas Jefferson invented the dumb waiter so he could have state dinners without servants entering the room to prevent gossip about what they had discussed.
Yay, fun
fact!
fact!
I seem to remember learning about that once.
Yeah.
Yay, fun facts! I like fun facts.
As dumb waiters don't speak.
Well, apparently they do, because one of them is speaking right now.
Well, that's not a waiter. That's a.
If you want to keep it British, one of the greatest humans ever that was ever born on this earth was Sir Thomas Crapper. Guess what Sir Thomas Crapper invented?
The toilet.
No, he didn't invent the toilet. He invented the ball cock flushing mechanism.
Yeah. This thing.
He made it civilized. The chain. He pulled a chain and your poop flush. People no longer were going in closets anymore. Thomas Crapper is a human.
Water closet is where the toilet was. It's where the running water went into a room where in a house where there was no running water. All the running water that became a thing ran to a room where they would put a toilet and a shower and a sink, and that was called the water closet because it wasn't actually part of the house.
It was literally a closet.
Yeah, it was a closet where the water came to the house.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you were going outside to take a shit. My grandma explained all this shit because she dug the pit for the outhouse and helped build the room or the closet for when they brought the water in. It's so much fascinating to listen to my grandma.
Life sucked before penicillin. Like
yeah.
Before penicillin.
Well, the reference to water closet is also why armored vehicles are called tanks.
Yeah.
Because the British military was developing them.
Use water tanks.
Yeah, under the code name of water carriers.
Speaking
of the commanders were objecting to their secret weapon being referred to as a WC.
Speaking of tanks, there's actually one for sale here in my state.
No.
And
absolutely not. No.
I would love if any of you would co-sign on an $80,000 loan for me so that I could buy it.
Do not
with gas prices like this.
Do not do it.
I need a tank.
You see what happened to Russian tanks. You just don't want to start driving it somewhere and leave it in a cornfield in Ukraine somewhere.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom, boom, boom. I need a tank.
People were whistleblowers and they got hosed for it.
I've got a clip here from that Panorama program I was telling you guys about.
Lee Kane's Leaving Do. Can you just tell us what happened at that event?
There was about 30 people, if not more, in a room. Everyone was stood shoulder to shoulder, some people on each other's laps.
People were sitting on each other's laps?
Yes, one or two people. They were every week. the event invites for Friday press office drinks were just nailed into the diary.
There were actually invites. There was a weekly regular invite to press office drinks on Friday nights.
Yes, Wine Time Fridays. Invites that were in everyone's calendar for every Friday at 4 p.m.
4 o'clock in the afternoon was wine time.
Yes.
Oh, right.
So to be really clear about this, you and your colleagues felt that you had, well, essentially permission from Boris Johnson to have these events. That's what you're saying.
That actually fits, because 4 p.m. your time is about when I start
he was
drinking.
there. He may have just been packing through on the way to his
I was
flat,
about to
because
say,
that's what would happen.
they've never heard of the rule. It's 5 o'clock
No,
somewhere.
he wasn't
exactly.
there saying this shouldn't be happening. He wasn't saying, can everyone break up and go home? Can everyone socially distance? Can everyone put masks on?
Wow.
No, he wasn't telling anybody that. He was grabbing a glass for himself. His principal private secretary himself was organising. His staff were organising parties.
So when you and your colleagues in government saw Boris Johnson say none of the rules had been broken,
We were watching it all live, and we just sort of looked at each other in disbelief, like, why? Why is he denying this? When we've been with him this entire time, we knew that the rules had been broken. We knew these parties happened.
A lot of these young members of staff from across Downing Street who have been fined feel that they went to these events. They did not think they were breaking the rules at the time because the Prime Minister was at them. He stood up in the House of Commons and essentially implied he'd been misled by some really very junior people whose job it would not be to police these events. And then they've been subject to this witch hunt to, find them.
So there you have it.
I think sometimes people overstate witch hunt. Did they have pitchforks?
Well,
Was there
it
fire?
does piss me off that they're trying to blame it on low-ranking people, like they could have organized the parties without consent from somebody higher up.
Right.
Yeah, 'cause if they could have organized the parties without this consent, what does that say about the people in power? What does that say about their effectiveness and competence?
Yeah, it seems like an obvious thing that, well, this is a member of somebody's staff saying that this was just a thing that and Boris Johnson's secretary was organizing, and so Boris has got deniability that he didn't know what his fucking secretary was doing. Of course he fucking doesn't have that.
Well, what are we trying to establish? The fact that Boris was or was not a participant? Because obviously he was.
I don't think there's anything yet to be established, is there?
Well, it seems the question is, did Boris Johnson know that this was going on? And it's like, what the fuck?
Clearly knew he was at the party.
That's why I said that, because she was kind of saying, like, did Boris Johnson know this and this? The a-hole was raising a glass and cheering. Of course, he's a participant.
Yeah, he's fucking there.
Where I'm from, even if you drive the car, they still call you a bank robber.
He knew where to go to find the party, so apparently somebody said something to him about it.
But what is making me angry about this is that all the lickspittle MPs who have been going on, the news defending Boris Johnson, defending the indefensible, and they're trying to push this narrative that Boris he didn't realise he was at a party. He just thought it was a work event. These were just very boring work events, where there happened to be there happened to be some wine there, and he was just raising a toast to people who would leave who the party was for, but that's irrelevant.
So these parties were taking place in the press room. Is that what she said?
They were taking place in number 10 Downing Street. The thing is, number 10 Downing Street is not just a place it's not just a play. It's not just living quarters for the Prime Minister.
Right.
It's also
it's just,
offices.
It performs like the White House does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing, the rule was at the time you can't have gatherings. So it doesn't matter whether these were work events or parties.
And here they are having the Raiders.
They were gatherings.
Right.
One of the reasons I try to bring in perspective is that during the time, and I'm from a different country, but I had 3 family members pass away that I couldn't go to their funeral because of all the COVID restrictions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually couldn't go to a funeral for. I had a couple of I had a relative die, whose funeral I couldn't go to.
I had a great aunt who passed away, and I couldn't go to her funeral. It was done over Zoom.
And they were all, like,
there are hundreds of stories like this.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. So that's why it's not necessarily personal. I just think Boris Johnson is an ass.
Well, it's not this is worse than not being able to go to a family member's funeral. But my ex was basically in charge of the COVID ward here in Fort Wayne, and there was essentially only one because none of the private hospitals were taking COVID patients. So it was up to the not-for-profit hospital to take all of them. And because their family members and even clergy weren't allowed on the ward, she was sitting with patients while they died.
Yeah.
So she wasn't even a bedside nurse at the time. She was an administrator. She just finished her master's degree. She was about to start a brand new department that still has yet to be started because they still have shit to do with COVID. But she sat with hundreds of people while they fucking died.
You know,
these dickheads are having a party and spreading the shit.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily again, these people were dumb enough to get caught. My neighbor, who I barely knew, my next door neighbor, who started coming over to my house all the time because I have basically the baseball's privatized and you have to have a special channel to watch the Dodgers, and I had the Dodger channel. So we were breaking COVID constrictions, but he was in my bubble technically because he's my neighbor.
Your bubble.
When Sloth Girl had her first surgery, I couldn't even enter the hospital.
Yeah.
You know, I could only bring her up to the entrance, and an attendant took her up from there.
When I had my pulmonary embolism, nobody could come to the ER with me. I was by myself in the ER, and then when they admitted me, I was only allowed one visitor per day.
Oh, right.
They weren't allowing that here.
And well, by the time I had my embolism, it was already 2021.
Okay, yeah.
So
the
restrictions had loosened to an extent, but not by much.
Yeah, I can remember getting a text from the ex the first day that she didn't have to sit with somebody while they died from COVID. And it had been well over 2 years between the first time and the last time.
So you texting, Will?
Well, and the whole point of the outrage was just, the fact that the rules weren't the same for the people making the laws as they were for everyone else.
Yeah.
Oh, an ABBA party. Okay. All right. This I have to hear about.
We had enough assholes that decided that none of that shit mattered to them and that they didn't owe the country anything. All they were owed was their rights, and they didn't owe the country anything in return for those.
That sounds like a good portion of the Republican Party.
Yeah, pretty much.
You know, when I went to the UK, I'm laughing because I discovered that Eurovision was real, and that people loved ABBA. So this kind of makes me laugh because this is so British. ABBA party. That's like us barbecuing with.
Isn't Mamma Mia one? I've never seen Mamma Mia, but I wouldn't know for sure. But isn't Mamma Mia basically one big fucking ABBA fuckfest?
Pretty much.
Mamma Mia is basically they came up with the story and wrote a script to string together as many ABBA songs as possible.
Now I'm singing the song in my head.
Which one?
This is a party that wasn't mentioned in the Sue Gray report for some reason, and Tory MPs and I dare say other MPs on the other side are suspecting that this has been covered. This has been covered up to save Boris Johnson. It says here, Conservative MPs fear a cover-up over potentially the most damaging event of the Partygate scandal after Sue Gray admitted she did not fully investigate an alcohol-fueled gathering in the flat shared by the Prime Minister and his wife.
So at the time, could you not legally go to someone else's home?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you weren't allowed gatherings.
Okay.
And
we had the same laws here. But it was like you couldn't have more than 4 people and that didn't live at your house. So 4 people could come to your house if they. It was confusing.
I think it was very confusing here, but I think it was the rule of 6.
Okay.
But clearly at these gatherings there was a lot more than 6. And as we've already seen, but apparently this was a party organised by Boris's wife.
Yeah. Well, when they started to relax it here, they said we could have gatherings of up to 8 people without issues. But I couldn't come up with 8 people I know who don't have issues.
Yeah. Same. So true.
Let alone locally.
Yeah. I say that I feel like I say this every week. These people have no consequences. Mike, I think you named him what Teflon Boris?
Yes.
He is Teflon. And I don't understand why this scruffy haired moron is untouchable.
But the thing is the Tories I think they still see him as a vote winner because the polling is very close, between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party. So they believe he could still survive this and go on to win the next general election for them.
Yeah,
and especially Tory MPs in marginal seats. They only won their seats, thanks to Boris. They are worried that they're going to lose their jobs without him if somebody else, becomes the prime minister in his place. So they're shitting themselves, and they don't want to rock the boat. But it's partly that, but it's also partly because there's no one else to take his place. There was Rishi Sunak, but unfortunately his name is mud now. Because of the revelations that have come out that his wife has Russian, her company has connections to Russia, to Russian oligarchs, and he's the richest. He's the richest MP. He's a multi-millionaire, and he made the Times Rich list recently. And so his career has been his reputation has been tarnished, and so there's not really anyone who could really take over from Johnson if they decide to get rid of him.
Last night, on Sky News, or I guess this morning, Sajid Javid was asked if he could be prime minister, and he kind of smirked and just kept talking. but I saw in his eyes he was like, yes. Of course, yeah. Like heck yeah, I want to be prime minister.
This is this is House of Cards shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the party's afraid that, you replace someone who's such a high-profile individual, it's kind of admitting the party made a mistake, so that's going to cost them a lot of votes.
They're acting like I wrote down notes last night and it made me laugh because when I was writing down, it sounded like a punk song. and I'm talking about the people that run your country. I don't think even as an outsider, I see that it's a big deal of what they did. Like this is a big deal.
Yeah. But Tobias Elwood, he's a Tory MP. He was booed and heckled by his own, his fellow Tories in the House of Commons for saying, for questioning whether, Boris Johnson was the right man to take them forward. He said if we don't make a decision on this, we could end up losing the next general election. And his own colleagues were booing him. But he's right.
We're having stories about Trump where it's entirely possible that during the January 6th shit, he actually suggested that maybe the vice president did need to be hanged.
Yeah.
And is anybody shocked by that?
And then we have a Supreme Court justice who's married to a seditionist who encouraged the whole fucking thing on January 6th. And what the fuck is going on in the world right now?
Yeah.
Okay, I know I'm taking crazy pills, but they're not supposed to make it worse.
But back to this story. Apparently, this ABBA party, this was organized by Boris's wife. I can't remember her name off the top of my head. But this happened
Doris. It's Doris, isn't it?
Probably.
Oh my God! Shut the fuck up.
But this happened when Dominic Cummings left, and she hates Dominic Cummings. So this was a celebration party.
Yeah, she probably prefers other kinds of Cummings.
Yeah, that's again with the fucking English names, man.
I do miss making fun of his last name.
Yeah.
What's stopping you?
This was
the comedian with the same name who actually makes fun of it.
The party was organized by Stool. Yes, Purple understands. When in doubt, blame Stool.
Yeah.
Harry Antoinette.
I asked
pronounced Carrie.
So, is there going to be any consequences, or are they just going to do like that pimp thing where they just start talking fast and hope no one pays attention?
What do you think, Captain Obvious?
I have to I'm trying to keep the party going.
We can't even get Trump arrested for inciting a riot, let alone sedition.
Well,
do you know if I went and stood on the corner with a sandwich board and was like, "Let's start a riot," I would get arrested.
Well, yeah, it's illegal.
Well, to be fair, Will, you don't exactly have the complexion to get away with such criminal activities.
Yeah, but where I live, people stand on almost every other street corner with the "end is near" signs. It's actually getting annoying.
And oranges for some reason.
No, okay, so I'll say this really quick. In the late 90s, towards the year 2000, people were freaking out. And so you'd see the Jesus freaks on every corner, and they're back. They're back.
Oh, yeah, everything is so bad right now.
I told you guys how my grandpa used to fuck with them. They would come to the door, and my grandpa would, "Okay, how's the world going to end this time, fuckers?"
They're back. Yeah.
But
the Moonies. Give me some Moonies, man.
Oh, that's taking me back.
Good old days when all we had to do was the Washington Post and Moonies.
Well, and Buddhists at the airport.
Yeah, who fought with the Moonies.
Yeah.
You guys didn't have Moonies. You fucking missed out. I guess we still have Moonies, but nobody talks about it.
Put your butt away, Josh. Stop talking about moons.
No, the UK actually, the UK still has Moonies. I watched what's that show called? Bigger Questions about it with good old Nikki Campbell.
Really?
The Big Questions. Yeah.
But
I thought they were strictly. They started out in California, moved to Colorado. Oh my God, that bird is back.
Stall is right. The winner takes it all was the ABBA song that was blaring out the windows.
Oh Jesus!
She was celebrating that she got Dominic Cummings sacked because she hated him apparently.
I'd have guessed it'd have been the Chariots of Fire theme. Dun, 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 dun.
I'm not against partying at all. I'm not against having fun. I'm not against partying, but just don't get caught. Don't be an idiot. Don't take pictures. Look, I'm pre-internet, so I think self-indictments are insane. Don't take pictures. Don't be around people taking pictures.
Yeah, there's a picture of me with Subway Jared on somebody's fucking Facebook page somewhere.
Yeah. But we're in a situation now where we've got MP after MP embarrassing themselves and debasing themselves on the news, defending Boris Johnson.
Yeah.
Refusing to admit that that he's a liar. That he's. I'll show you an example if I can. This was a car crash interview, and
sitting with the Prime Minister yesterday, he was shocked, and particularly, as I say, around the treatment of by some staff of others in the building, and that is something the Prime Minister was not aware of. He was shocked by. It is why he's made significant changes, and it is important why the lessons are learned. And indeed, that's why he said he was so humbled yesterday when he discovered those sort of incidents.
Sir Gray said he should accept and bear ultimate responsibility.
Well, he did. He went to the House of Commons and he said that. He gave an apology. He accepted that he is ultimately responsible. He explained his role as Prime Minister, and people were working incredibly intensively within Downing Street during that time. It was an extremely challenging time. Clear mistakes were made, and that's why
lying so effortlessly is so creepy.
He's lucky Pinocchio's not real.
Honor.
Yes, he does.
I get it. I mean, I'm a sociopath. I can lie my ass off.
Been sacked twice.
I watched this live.
My opinion, I work very closely with him. He is focused on our response to Russia-Ukraine. He's focused on the huge challenge economically for families, for your viewers, in terms of the cost of energy, the cost of food.
Yep.
He's getting on with the job. He got the big
Moving the
calls
goalposts,
including during COVID, the fastest rollout. Last year we had the fastest growing economy in the G7. On Russia, Ukraine, he has led.
And I want to come back to the cost of living in just a second.
He has been getting the big calls right, but he accepted, in terms of some of these incidents, that there were lessons to be learned.
Okay.
Kay Burley is so hot. She is so hot. If you guys are, she comes on live at 11 o'clock my time on Sky News. It's so hot. 11 o'clock at night.
But
yeah, that's 2 o'clock in the
right
morning.
Up there with what you were saying, Will, about
awake.
People with the cell phone. Is that, if you're going to do bullshit like this, if you're going to have the big parties and want to keep them a secret, you give big bonuses to the cleanup staff.
Yeah.
Yep.
You have to buy people's silence after that.
Yes.
You double their salary for the week and you send them home because you're obviously not using the cooking staff anyway, you tight motherfuckers. So why do you have staff there at all to belittle when you're just gonna fuck shit up? Let them go home so that none of your obnoxious twat cunted friends have any dumb shit to say to them, and then they can come back the next day at 10 or 12 o'clock, clean up after you fucking assholes, and go home again on a full check.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Instead, you dumb sons of bitches who have never hired a person in your life, you fucked them, you stupid twat.
All right, Artie, are you done?
No, I saw this live.
I kind of doubt it.
No, but I saw this live, and last night I said this out loud. Like, instead of talking, and this is what bothers me in people in general, there's an issue, okay? Instead of talking about that issue in any way, shape, or form, they start equivocating and bringing up something else. It's annoying.
Yeah.
It's just annoying.
You know what else is annoying? Stool. And yet here he is in the chat, continuing to exist and remind me that, you know, days can be ruined.
It's a fixation. It's a fixation. It's keeping me away.
He is not 93. We were just watching. We were just watching a
Wait,
video
what? Wait,
with
what?
her.
Will's into 93-year-old women? What?
If she's really
Yeah,
hot
Will's
and rich,
chasing
I'm
my
down to be
mother.
her cabana boy. Sorry, sorry, Purple. Go ahead.
Yeah, Will's chasing my mother.
Yeah, I've had some people say some really horrible things about my mom, and then back them up even after I described to her them the fact that she's only got the one breast and the one fake hip and still married and 79 years old. Gross fuckers.
And Grant Shapps, or as I call him, Grant Shats himself, says, not
Okay, is there a
partying.
basis behind that nickname? Is there a story?
Well,
They call him the Schnapster.
It's just the way my mind works. Chaps and
Shappy slapping.
Where's my inhaler?
What fucking movie was that from?
Not partying. Boris Johnson lost his mum, but she died a year later. So get his facts right.
Oh my god, that's like the fucking everybody knows the one chronically absent employee who's perpetually losing grandmas.
The one? That is a normal trope with people.
Oh yeah, my grandma died every time I got a new job.
I've
done it.
Sorry,
I'm not kidding. Every company I've ever worked for has gotten that phone call at least once.
Damn, Will, you getting roasted in the chat. You're into necrophilia. You're into fucking gilfs. You are one sick man.
That makes me popular.
Yeah.
Come find me.
Tory Grant Shapps has bizarrely claimed
he's like a Make-A-Wish for old people.
Boris Johnson was clearly not partying when he raised fizz surrounded by booze at number 10 party. A cabinet ally said Prime Minister lost his mum during the period, despite the fact Charlotte Johnson Wall died suddenly 10 months after the party happened.
It's tragic. Think of how long she was in that coma.
Boris Johnson is quite literally that college kid you should have never hired.
In all honesty, he reminds me of the guy that tried to rape my baby's mama. That's how she and I met. The guy that lived next door to me tried to rape her, and I intervened. And Johnson reminds me of that motherfucker. And in some really uncomfortable ways. And I'm not even making the accusation that he's a sexual assault artist like the fucker that lived next door to me that finally went to jail after the third time he did that to somebody. But he's just such a fucking idiot, just like the dickhead next door.
Yeah.
Never forget.
He tried to rape somebody in his own fucking dorm room. Hello?
Yeah. I had an incident where somebody tried to rape a teenage girl in the field behind my mother's house.
My son's mom was 18.
Where the F do you guys live? People walk their dogs and we wave to each other around here where I live.
Central New Jersey. Central New Jersey. That's where.
College in the dorm. I thought I said that, but yeah.
I know. I'm just being.
I mean, everything fucking happens in college. No. Where do I live that happens? A little podunk middle of fucking bumblefuck nowhere town in the geographical center of New Jersey.
I'm still not over Party Marty or monkeypox.
Yeah, that's.
Does anybody know what monkeypox is?
Well, it looks uncomfortable.
Monkeypox appears to be. It appears to be related to the smallpox, because basically the virus from monkeypox is a derivation of the smallpox virus.
Lovely.
Or the vaccine for it is a derivation of the smallpox vaccine.
The only reason I got offended is when they were saying, they were basically describing people that look like me. They were saying it was in the UK, it was African men, no, West African men.
Oh.
Gay men. West African gay men.
Boris Johnson under pressure to urgently explain why he privately met Sue Gray to discuss handling of Partygate reports.
Because when you're in the mafia, you have to tell them how to act.
Yeah. Gotta come right.
Sue Gray and Boris Johnson had a private meeting to discuss the handling of the Partygate report. Further details of the meeting are sketchy, with confusion over whether the inclusion of pictures in the report was discussed and who initiated the meeting. So apparently, Boris Johnson had a meeting with Sue Gray to try to get her to drop the reports. That's basically what's happening.
But who called the meeting? I don't remember.
Is that like when Trump threatened to beat up Mike Pence for doing his job?
Kill him. He's going to kill him.
Or what about when Trump met with James Comey regarding the, Russiagate?
Or when he met with fucking leader of Russia alone.
Oh, yeah, the meeting that nobody knows anything about.
Apparently he walked in with a letter and walked out without it, but no one will ever know what that letter said, that's the way government should be run.
So Will, when you sing Thriller while dogging, do you actually go as far as doing the El Hee voice, or just?
Well, it depends on how many subs are on their knees down, how many fans I have at the time, how big of an audience.
Shut up, Josh. Nobody asked you.
Okay.
Oh, damn it. I had a question and I forgot.
Damn it, Josh. It's your fault.
Oh, that was my question, Mike. Is it illegal for Boris Johnson to do that? Because in certain situations, like if our public officials were to meet, they would have to do it, in certain places.
Yeah, I think that is illegal. Yeah.
Yeah, but does it really matter if it's illegal at this point?
Like, I can't meet with the opposition's lawyer. If you know what I'm saying, like I can't go up to the opposition. I couldn't go to my ex-wife's lawyer and be like, "Hey, so what's your plan?"
Well, you could.
There needs to be a proper investigation into this.
Oh, Mike took his sweatshirt off. So are we taking off an article of clothing every time Boris Johnson does something stupid now?
I thought I thought it was all a wardrobe change and everybody was going to do it.
This would be a naked stream if that was true.
No, it wouldn't.
I invoke my right against self-incrimination on that statement, Will.
Oh, summer's here. I've been doing in California. We're all pretentious, so I've been doing push-ups. I'm almost ready.
Good for you. I sit up to get out of bed. Usually the last sit up.
I haven't killed anybody yet. What more do you people want from me?
I talk a lot of trash, so I have to stay in shape.
What I have to say is no one's ever going to find those bodies, so I don't have anything to say, Your Honor.
Again, it goes back to self-indictments. Why would you, man, if I was going to meet with her, I would go drive my own. I would go find another car of a friend, get in there and meet her by myself without anyone knowing.
Take a fucking Uber.
Have you ever seen a 007 movie?
No, wait, maybe.
Boris Johnson just seems like a really crappy spy.
Boris Johnson is just a semi-competent version of Trump.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's only because Boris Johnson has more of the psychopathic lizard brain than Trump.
Okay, so I say this in all honesty. When I went to the UK, people in the UK just seem like they have their stuff more together because their English is better than ours. So in all actuality, they're just like us. It's just they can say it way better than we can.
Yeah, and you're the only and you're only going to places where people can enunciate like you understand it. Otherwise, you go to some place and you have no idea that they're even speaking English.
But it's like that here too, where I
What
live.
is this? What is these tongues?
Where I live, in Southern California, the native language here is Spanish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but in England, they've got a different dialect every 10 miles.
Yeah.
Well, and in LA, it's Mexico City Spanish too. It's not like
Yeah, true. No, I speak Mexican Spanish. I don't speak Castilian. I don't speak anything else. I speak like.
You don't like to go
Mexico.
and have the tapas?
What's that?
You don't like to go and have the tapas?
No, I do. No. Oh, I like to. Of course, I do. I have El Salvadorian pupusas.
Oh, you go to Barcelona and you get the tapas?
I have all. I've been there, and it's so mean because they do talk like that, and stereotypes are like that for a reason, but that's still
it's
mean.
Not a stereotype. It's the way they pronounce the word.
Know, but that's
I actually
mean.
had a woman teach me that on purpose for a semester at college because that's what she spoke.
And you're sure you weren't being punked. You're positive you weren't being punked.
I was sleeping with her, so.
No, they really do. No. When you get like certain dialects do it's like people make fun of Korean people because they will put Y after everything. African dialects do the exact same thing. I know a lot of African people that put the Y at the end of everything, and they're not trying to do it purposely. It's just phonetically how they speak.
Well, it's like Australians put O at the end of everything.
Again, in Spanish too. In Spanish, depending on who you're talking to, you put an A or an O at the end of everything.
I thought it was Canada that everything ended in an A.
No, Canada, you follow everything with sorry.
I've been there. Canadians are not as nice as you think they are.
Well, it depends on how far north you go.
Yeah, who wants to see another car crash interview?
And if you're ever in Quebec, that doesn't count.
So, Artemis, what you're saying
tell you
is
what
that
the answer is. The answer is very simple.
Along the border.
Single meeting in number 10. But this is a meeting that has been in the press since Sky News broke it on Friday night. So it would be, I think, fair of us to assume that you will have asked a bit of this to number 10 when you know that you're going to go and be their spokesperson this morning. The reason I'm asking who called the meeting is because initially journalists were briefed that it was Sue Gray. Her spokesperson then had to come out and basically push back on that, to say it wasn't true, that she didn't initiate this meeting. So who did call the meeting?
Look, all I can say to you is the meeting that took place between Sue Gray and the Prime Minister. I can't tell you who called the meeting because
Did you not ask the question of number 10 before you came on this morning, or did they just not tell you the answer?
No, I tell you what the answer is. The answer is very simple. The answer is the Prime Minister will never intervene in Sue Gray's investigation. The Prime Minister wants Sue Gray to basically go wherever the evidence takes her. And I don't think, ultimately...
Who called the meeting?
Well...
You say you don't know, but do you not know who called the meeting because you didn't ask the question or because number 10 didn't tell you the answer?
No, but if Sue Gray decides that, when she publishes, she decides, how she's going to deliver her final report.
The facial hair is not helping the question.
I already caught it. That's why I leaned
ultimately,
forward.
There are two facts that you need to consider. One,
I took my glasses
Prime
off.
Minister
I had to take my
does not, did not, never intervene in this report. He wants Sue Gray to publish her report. Secondly, I've worked with Sue Gray. I know Sue Gray. Sue Gray's integrity is beyond question.
So you're asking our viewers to accept that the Prime Minister did not intervene in this report, right?
Absolutely right.
Okay.
Absolutely right.
I just feel that most of our viewers would have more confidence in that assertion if number 10 could be straight with them about who called this meeting, and they're not being straight. Who called the meeting?
Well, hold on a second. You know that Sue Gray's first report didn't pull its punches.
But who called the meeting?
You know.
Sorry, Mike. His H-word mustache was really tripping me out. I had to take my glasses off.
Why did his facial hair look like a fucking crust of dried cum all around his mouth?
So I want to know. I want to note this to the government bot who's going to watch this later. Stop sending the guy with the H-word mustache to the press conference.
He needs to shave or dye that shit, and I've never ever told that to another man ever.
He couldn't walk in the same room with me. I'd be like, bro, let's have a talk about your life choices. Let's have a seat.
You look like you just walked off the set of Jojo Rabbit.
Awful choice. Awful
Okay,
choice.
Chris Hansen. Chris Hansen, why don't you have a seat right over there? Just have a seat.
Just pile myself.
But sorry,
He was
Pepper,
trying so hard to dance around such a simple question.
No shit.
And he refused to give any type of answer at all.
Well, no, Purple. He said he's got a simple answer. It's a simple answer. There's a simple answer, and I'm going to spend 15 minutes not giving it.
Yeah.
There's a simple answer that I'm not going to give you because
it's very complicated, and as a woman, you wouldn't understand. Oh God, did I say that? Did I say that or think it?
Pretty sure you said it, Artie. So let's think. Do you want to live to see 74?
No, I don't.
But this is
I'll
what
have
I'm.
my Lego giraffe back now.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm talking about. This is.
I think he's on the floor on the other side of the desk.
All these Tory
Keeps falling
MPs,
off.
one after the other,
Yeah.
going on news programs, humiliating themselves and embarrassing themselves. How much longer are they going to do this before they finally think to themselves, no, I'm not prepared.
The world may never know.
I'm not prepared to debase myself like this anymore. I'm done.
So the thing that trips me out is that these people are solidly in office for the next 2 years.
Yeah.
You can't, like, as people, you can't vote them, like, have a vote of no confidence.
As cats, they can, but as people, no.
We can't at the moment. But what can happen is the Tory. This is how it works. The Tory, in order to get rid of the leader, the Tories need to send 54 Tory MPs need to send a letter to the 1922 committee saying we want a vote of no confidence in our leader, and then that will trigger a vote of confidence. But the problem, it's risky, because the problem with that is if Boris Johnson wins that vote of confidence, they can't do it again for a whole another year. So that's why. That's
During
another
which time he would then have free reign to go buck wild.
Well, they also seems like they're willing. They've been willing to wait this long already on some other shit. So maybe you go ahead and pull the trigger on that, so that you're only waited a year if you have to.
What's the fucking point?
A few Tory MPs sent letters today, apparently, but it needs 54, and I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be foolish to think that it would.
So here in California, Gavin Newsom got recalled. Long story short, he lifted the mask mandate to appease to people. Okay, he won with 96% of the vote on the recall.
Yeah.
In his acceptance speech, he was like, "All right, put your masks back on." He made it state law the day he won. He was like, "It's law now at a-holes, and no one can do anything." And he's gonna get reelected.
It's just funny. It's just funny that they demanded the recall and then ran those fucking piles of shit against him like he's gonna lose that.
Yeah.
He's not unpopular. He's just got an unpopular idea about a thing. You have to run somebody that's capable of beating him, not just Bob from Joe's Bank.
Rich people forget that they are not the majority. So where I live, there's a lot of rich people, and they're like, "Oh, look at all these people who agree with me." That does not mean that everybody else in the state of California is not below or barely on the poverty line.
Yeah, look how far apart your houses
I don't know
are
whether to find
people.
it really.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Find it really cute. I don't know whether to find it really, really cute and adorable or really, really cringe and creepy when rich people who are running for public office try so hard to be relatable to the general public.
Like Mike Pence.
Oz was the worst. It's okay if you're not raised around firearms. It's okay if you're not a hillbilly. Don't pretend to be one.
Oh,
Dr. Oz was gross.
Mike Pence did nothing but set the standard for what it is to be white. I mean, he's literally I mean, if he doesn't go down in 21st century history as the whitest motherfucker that ever lived.
No, he's gonna go down.
He is the meme of what white is.
Fucking fly. He's gonna go down for the fucking fly. That's what he's gonna.
Well, did you hear one of the recent proposals for the Republicans that trying to make themselves more popular announced that they were working on another tax package that would give you a tax break on your other homes?
Oh yeah. Yeah, your second properties?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the income that you get from the other property that you own, we're gonna cut the taxes on that because it's your other house.
Yeah, and they thought that this was going to be popular with working class people.
Yeah.
Because working class people can totally afford to own even one home, let alone two now.
It's one thing to have the people with fuck you money fucking with you. Right now what we have is people with what they think is fuck you money fucking with us, and real estate prices have gone through the fucking roof. We've got people doubling their fucking rent in a year. Shit like that. What?
I saw this African-American guy in Detroit. He basically broke the math down, and he said to live in a bad neighborhood in a crappy 2-bedroom apartment, you have to make at least $5,000. No, every occupant has to make at least $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
How many people in Michigan? How many people in Michigan make $5,000? How many people in America make $5,000?
That's got to be top 30th percentile at least.
I don't even make $5,000 in 3 months.
Artie and I live in basically the same style house, and my house is close to $1 million because I live in the state of California. It goes for 800, 900.
Mine's about 140 grand.
Wow.
Wow.
Then again, you have a neighborhood that's really nice, and I'm 30 feet from a road with semis that run down it.
I'm looking at my security cameras, and people are literally waving to each other, and the neighborhood kids are like all the kindergartners are like waving bye to their friends.
Every morning at about 6:30 or 7, I'm awoken by a truck from the bottling plant up the street driving over the bump on the corner right here because it shakes my fucking house.
Oh, that's
the truck is so fucking heavy it shakes my house.
I've been telling Will that if he sold his house there, he could come to Minnesota and he could buy 3 lake houses for what his house is worth.
Or a lake.
But anyway,
a crow wing.
The Tory MP, in my opinion, who has embarrassed himself the most over this, is Douglas Ross. He's the leader of the Scottish Conservatives, and when this Partygate stuff first hit the news, he put in a letter to the 1922 committee, and he publicly said that he didn't have any confidence in the Prime Minister. But then, when Russia invaded Ukraine, he withdrew his letter and said, "Oh, we've got to get behind the Prime Minister now."
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Now that there's a war on, but now he's.
Did you say moron or war on?
War on.
Got to get behind the moron to get our war on.
Well, the war's on started by the moron.
Yeah,
but now he seems to be U-turning yet again and saying, "Well, now that once the war is over, he's got to leave."
Well, it must be so dizzying going around in circles like this.
Yeah.
So Purple is asking a question that I didn't want to say.
You got a whole century behind.
So socially, the UK freed their slaves 100 years before America. But they still go by the 1922 committee.
And they allowed in all those Irish people.
Oh,
you said it, you racist. School's not here, so I have to call you a racist. You racist.
the chat, I think. Stool's in the chat, I think. You don't have to completely usurp his status as the blight on humanity.
You know, I was going to make that patch, but then I was like, you know, if I wore a patch that said racist out in public, I would get my nose broken where I live. So,
I would too. And there's plenty of us. There would be plenty of us around, but nobody
Artie, you're in Indiana. I thought
nobody
it was
advertises that shit in this
it was
neighborhood.
socially acceptable. You're in Mike Pence land. I thought it was socially acceptable to be a bigoted piece of shit.
You don't have to get far away from here for that to be the case, but right here, that'll get your ass kicked. In fact, there was a guy not
Wikipedia, really?
Yeah.
300 meters from here was a guy on top of a hill that had a flag that was half American flag and half Confederate battle flag. And after 3 years, somebody finally burned that motherfucker. And the beauty of it is that it was made out of nylon, and there's still a dripping mass
to burn something.
Hanging down from it, just to show you that somebody burned the motherfucker. I was so happy to see that.
But in answer to Purple's question, the 1922 committee, it says here, formerly known as the Conservative Private Members Committee, is the parliamentary group of the Conservative Party in the House of Commons of the United Kingdom. The committee, consisting of all Conservative backbench members of Parliament, meets weekly while Parliament is in session and provides a way for backbenchers to coordinate and discuss their views independently of the frontbenchers.
Why does it sound like why does front benching and back benching sound like sex terms?
It is. They are.
They are.
Yeah. So here's the question: who's the front bench and who's the back bench?
Well,
and
which is better, and how do you decide?
Well, Josh, do you have anything to say?
I don't get stuck on stick.
They're confusing.
Okay, so Mike is the front bench.
Confusingly enough, the group was formed in 1923. And
that's not confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah, my brain hurts.
But so basically, that's basically in a nutshell. And
where'd Will go?
P.
Oh, we lost Will. Oh.
Yeah, well, Artie just said he went pee.
I have the decency to turn off my camera when I go pee.
You know what? At least he doesn't bring the camera with him.
That's a good
Give
point.
him some credit.
Or wear a lavalier mic so we can listen.
But the front bench is
stop it.
The front bench refers to it's literally the front bench of the House of Commons. Where the leader sits and the leader and his team sits, and in this case, Boris Johnson and his cabinet.
I'm just looking at all of Will's sewing machines, and I'm like amazed. Ooh, puppy!
And
fucking cross. That's why he's got all those American flags hanging in there.
And
puppy.
And the backbenchers literally sit at the back. That's all it is. It's the job of the backbenchers to hold the front benchers to account, basically.
Who did the bit? Was it who did the bit about the backbenchers that they would sit two of them that were just kind of complete idiots that anytime one or the other of them got their name mentioned by anybody in Parliament, the other was madly jealous. And god damn it, who was it that did that shit? Bit of Laurie and what was that? I think it was them.
Hugh Laurie. Laurie.
Yeah, I think it was him, Fry and Hugh Laurie.
Yes.
Do you know, the second you brought that up, I got the theme song to No Job for a Lady stuck in my head. I stand for Penelope Keith. Do you know they make her seem so tall on television, and she's the exact same height as I am. She's 5'9". She's really not that tall.
She's pretty tall.
Giant.
That's pretty tall. I'm 5'5".
Yeah, for a woman, 5'9" is pretty tall.
It's not like NBA tall, or WNBA rather.
we
Well,
got
in that case, what the fuck am I, a midget?
Well, I went to high school with a girl that was the best basketball player in the state. She was 6'1". She was taller than I am.
I dated a girl that was 6'4". I don't have a problem with a tall woman at all.
No, I think about 5'6" is about average height for a woman in the U.S.
Yeah,
thereabouts.
But we've got one last story here.
Wait. There's their own police department now? We have the Partygate police?
Oh my god, that's like, here in New Jersey, the Department of Human Services has its own police.
But basically, the police who were investigating Partygate, they only investigated Boris Johnson at just 2 of the 6 events that he attended.
That motherfucker has no neck in that picture. I feel the need to put that out there.
Because
wait a minute. I just noticed this. Scroll back up. I just noticed something. Boris Johnson ain't got no fucking eyebrows.
He's a towhead. Everything on him is that color. Like Mike Pence. If you don't think that Mike Pence is monochromatic, you're wrong. He's painted like powder, top to bottom.
Yeah, it's just that little black dot, the fly, to kind of offset all that white.
Yeah, it's what you see when you see Mike Pence isn't a grayscale. It's the actual color of the man.
But Boris Johnson, it says here, was informed by the Met Police that he would be subjected to a limited probe as part of the 4-month inquiry, the Mirror has been told. Today, the police force said it finished its probe.
That's what she said.
Uh-huh.
It's just a limited probe.
There's some shady shit going on here.
Yeah, anytime you use the word limited and probe, somebody's lying.
Yeah, because if you're investigating...
Can we please talk about probing right now? I don't want certain butt bandits behind me to get ideas.
What are you going to say, Purple?
If you're investigating complaints of a party, why would you talk to the resident, huh?
and
oh, I know.
It's not really much of a probe if you're putting a limit on it. It's like...
Yeah, a probe's got to be able to go all the way up in there.
It's like that. Yeah, it's like that Mormon thing where you just the tip.
Just tip. Oh God. Just the tip. Just the tip.
This has prompted a lot of people to accuse the Met of being corrupt, basically, and it made a lot of people very angry. That Boris Johnson has, he's been allowed to get away with this shit.
Yeah, again, just the laws aren't applied to the rich people or the people in power.
So, Mike, in the UK, are your police trusted? Because, like, here in America, we're not shocked when we hear something about corrupt police. At least I'm not.
No, the police are not trusted in this country. Not really.
Oy vey.
I didn't think so.
I thought the public had a bit of a higher opinion of them in Britain than they do here.
It depends, I think. It depends what part of the country you live in, I suppose.
Because you guys were outraged when that cop murdered that young woman.
Yeah.
In America, that happens all the time, and I'm understating it.
Yeah.
You know? And you see how jaded Chinese was? She's like, yeah. It's sad. It's sad. We're
it is though. It's the norm. Just like this mass shooting of the elementary school in Texas. America, things like police brutality and mass shootings are becoming so commonplace that we are sadly extremely desensitized to it here. We don't have the energy to be outraged anymore because we're just so fucking used to it.
Anybody want to hear what a really disturbing fucking number? The leading cause of death for kids between 5 and 16, mass shooting.
Yeah.
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 And you know what?
Oh,
And again, the desensitized, jaded sack of shit that is me. Just, you know what? That doesn't even shock me at this point.
People aren't even just desensitized. People aren't even just desensitized to it. It's actually gotten to the point that the news just doesn't bother reporting them.
Yeah.
Were you aware that we have had?
I'm at the point where I'm afraid.
We've had 30 mass shootings in the U.S. this year already.
Yeah.
And in LA, we've had 3 in between the past 2, just in the past week.
Yeah. But we have literally not gone a full week without having a mass shooting.
It's terrible. But here in the UK, I think we had a school shooting I think it was about 20 years ago in a Scottish village called Dunblane. And after that happened, stricter gun laws were put in place. And we haven't
Imagine that, something we should have been doing a long time ago.
We haven't had a shooting since. We haven't had a mass shooting.
Imagine how many massacres could have been prevented if we would just put in some stricter gun laws.
You know what's sad? In central Los Angeles and some of the worst neighborhoods in LA, their schools are safer because they've had security guards and metal detectors since the 80s. And so these places that we perceive as, oh, they're African American neighborhoods, they're violent. They don't have mass shootings at their schools ever because the kids are protected, you know.
We had an Amish school get shot up in Indiana. That's how fucking great things have gotten.
I thought that was in Pennsylvania.
That was after the one in Indiana. There were more kids got killed in Pennsylvania.
If these mass shootings were happening at golf courses and prep schools, we'd have gun control passed overnight.
Yeah,
and no one.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, that's the sad thing about the guy the groundskeeper that got shot on a golf course was that he was the only groundskeeper that was shot.
And here also, a lot of people are going after people of Asian descent. We've had 2 of the mass shootings we've had recently. One were against Chinese people, and the other person was looking for anyone with Asian descent, which in Southern California is kind of easy, you know?
Yeah, no shit.
Well, and a lot of that is because Trump and his cronies, pushed the whole anti-Asian rhetoric. They blame them for the whole COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you grew up in LA, you should be able to tell the difference between a Chinese person and a Korean. But whether or not that matters to you, totally up in the air.
If you're bigoted, it doesn't make a difference.
Of course not, no.
Where I live, there's people from around the world, like Cambodia, Laos, like all over India. My first real girlfriend was Bengali. And the funny thing is, back in the day, I asked her years later, like, how come you went out with me? Because she's really hot. And she told me, she's like, you're the only person. My dad didn't question what race or religion you were because you were brown.
I just want you to know that I too went international with my first girlfriend. She was English.
No, I just feel very bland and boring because most of my taste in men has been skinny, long-haired, white bad boys.
Yeah, just a real shortage of those.
The reason I asked that about your police was because in my country we've kind of, I think it's insane. We've just accepted the fact that we pay taxes to these idiots to beat us up, to pull us over.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Absolutely.
We may or may not have an answer.
Why does the NRA have so much power?
No fucking clue. No, it's not.
No.
There aren't that many fucking people that belong to it. It's like 17 million people.
Yeah, but they walk up.
I mean the money that they throw, not
yeah.
I don't know who all the donors are, but the
NRA,
the companies, Remington makes a lot of money.
Yeah, the NRA is funded by the gun manufacturers, so they can use it as a way to hide how much they're donating to political campaigns.
And
so essentially, the NRA is a shell company.
No, but fun fact. The NRA has filed for bankruptcy. And I learned this from Michael Keaton himself over there, my son, because I said something and he's like, no, they filed, and he showed me all this stuff. They've created Godzilla though. So now we have these gun nuts. My parents were part of the NRA.
Homosexuals.
My parents my mom hasn't renewed her membership. My dad passed away, but my parents used to be. I have NRA stickers on my sticker wall over here. It used to just be an organization, and it turned into this globular
big shell company.
It's like F1.
It got bought out by the weapons manufacturers.
Yes.
Yeah, it used to be a magazine and gun enthusiasts. Now it's gun nuts and people protecting their right to produce whatever the fuck ammunition and weapons they want to, and be allowed to sell them not just in international markets to militaries, but to citizens of the United States.
I'll see if I could find it. I say this all the time, okay? Propaganda works, Mike. So in America, we have tied in our freedom with the right to being able to kill another human being.
Yep.
We might as well, we might as well just make the purge a real thing at the rate we're going.
I live in a lefty place, and if I showed you what was just in this room, you'd be like, whoa.
I just want the population of my area to know that if there's ever a purge thing that becomes legal, don't drink water for about a week.
Do I want to know why you're saying that?
If you think about it, Americans, we are, when I was a little kid, I remember traveling around and being like, why is everyone so relaxed here? Why is everyone we Americans, we're just different. We're very high-strung people. I didn't realize how religious we were until I went to the UK.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I didn't realize it. Honestly, I didn't realize how religious most of what I was familiar with was until I moved to LA. And I wasn't even surrounded by atheists. I was still the token atheist among my peer group in my neighborhood and at work. But there was a whole lot less fucking Jesus sitting around me. I mean, you can't drive 30 miles on an interstate in Indiana without seeing somebody tell you about how God's going to take you to hell and you should smear the blood of Christ all over you in order to keep that from happening.
I'll tell you here, people, I live in a religious neighborhood. People mind their own business. Someone I've known my whole life, she said something. She's like, yeah, I'm Jewish. I looked at her. I said, you're Jewish? And she laughed because I've known her my entire life. Who cares? Who cares?
I can remember an early friend of mine that the first time I knew that I was friends with a Jew. And I go back to school. It's the first day back. Classes won't start for another week, and I'm just hanging out with him at his apartment after I've set my shit off to mine. And he's like, "Hey, grab my phone and order a pizza." And I'm like, "Right on." And then it hits me.
Oh, that maybe to do it a little bit.
He's Jewish. What the fuck am I ordering for this pizza? Yeah. So I said, "So what do you want on the pizza?" He's like, "Whatever you want." And I was like, "Oh, motherfucker. I need you to be more specific than that. What would you like on the pizza?" He's like, first things out of his mouth, bacon, ham. Okay, I got it. I got the rest.
Mike, I'll tell you, I'm gonna say this. We are nowhere near a civil war. And even if we did have one, it would be more near Artie's house and less near people would be coming towards my house. You know what I'm saying? It wouldn't be like the entire country fighting. It would be pockets of
It would be pockets of idiots being killed by National Guard members.
Pockets of idiots.
No, people think I'm sorry, you can take a tank on, you can even take a helicopter on, you can't take a drone on.
Okay, we've brought up the word tank again. Okay, I'm just gonna shamelessly plug. Somebody
No.
It's only $80,000. I am responsible. No. I will pay the loan. I need the tank.
Absolutely not.
Okay, but then you'll need another $80,000 to gas it up.
It's so weird that the voice of reason is coming from behind her.
It's $650 to gas it up all the way.
Yeah. It is a bit weird that Josh is the voice of reason.
That's so new.
I've always thought about that. Like, I've always wanted a tank.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
a
Using the voice of reason is new. Normal. No, but seriously.
Yeah, no, seriously. Yeah, no, yeah. Seriously.
Come on, guys. You would trust me with a tank, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely not.
I want a tank.
We
just in case the
couldn't
world
even get
goes
Hillary
bad.
Clinton elected, and she was the most qualified president
Well,
candidate
there's
ever.
there's a tank for sale in Vineland, New Jersey. It seats 6 people, and it's only $80,000.
Did you say Violence, New Jersey?
Vineland.
Okay, so I have a question. What kind of tank is it?
It's an M6.
No, I forget. I'll DM you the
gallon.
article. But
No,
like, can we please?
24-gallon above ground.
No, because the reason I say that is
Who wants
because
to know why you don't want a lengthy, shiny weapon on wheels?
no, the reason I ask that because if it's Soviet made, I don't want it.
Yeah, they use too much gas.
No,
If
for
it's- if
real though,
it's,
like, y'all don't understand how badly I need a tank. Okay, vroom vroom, boom boom, motherfuckers. Do you have any idea how much of my road
first
rage
of all,
is bad?
Diesel
All right.
engines don't go vroom vroom.
I want to tell you a really quick story about cool things. All right, I want the Bat car so bad it's not even funny.
Wait,
so
which iteration?
Michael Keaton. Okay.
No.
Oh. Yeah.
So I went looking. No, I went
Christian
looking.
Bale
okay?
is the superior Batman.
No, I went looking and I found one. I looked at it. It was a crappy Dodge.
I want the 60s Batmobile.
They're so expensive. I want one too, but because they're specialty cars. Like now, those are like Ford Fairlanes. They are so expensive.
They used to sell that shit up here.
I need this fucking tank. Okay. I would never have road rage again if I had a tank, because if someone in front of me was driving like an idiot.
Yeah, see, exactly. That's why we're not gonna co-sign on anything.
Are you sure it's not because you don't trust my financial habits?
Yes.
Anyways,
yes, that is not where the distrust
I am a
comes.
perfectly responsible, level-headed, peaceful adult who just happens to need a tank.
Hey, Purple, do you agree with that?
Yeah, just qualified on how many counts there.
I don't know what the fuck you people are talking about. I am the nicest person, the most reasonable person on the face of the earth.
Said by Tank Girl. Said by Tank Girl. Please tell me you've seen Tank Girl.
What's that?
Lori Petty? Come on.
I don't even know the name.
I used to read the comics, but I haven't seen the film.
Yeah,
it's an off film, but they made the movie. I think
like a true nerd, Mike.
I am such
like
a Hollywood
nerd. I've read the comics.
So
all right, tell us you were a nerdy kid without telling us you were a nerdy kid.
I loved Ice Pirates.
What the fuck is a Gran Torino?
A car.
Are you serious?
Yeah, the car.
My uncle had one.
my baby's mama drove one.
You're gonna tell us you've never seen Starsky and Hutch either, aren't you?
I plead the fifth.
What was the car in Starsky and Hutch?
A Gran Torino.
Oh, was it? I thought it was a Tempest.
No.
I can be wrong. I'm not.
My uncle.
I'm friends with Peter. I'm wrong about cars all the time.
My uncle was a complete a-hole, but he had motorcycles and nice cars. And he had a Gran Torino, and he'd always tell me, "You're Starsky." And he'd go,
I've never seen.
flying around.
I have no idea. I've never seen Starsky and Hutch.
Flying around.
There was a movie in the late '90s, wasn't there?
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
I can't believe you haven't seen Tank Girl.
Actually, it's more recent than that because there's a.
Yeah, I think it was more recent than that. Snoop Dogg stole the show as Huggy.
Yeah, it's like 2016, or well, maybe not that. 2012,
Why is
2016.
anybody. Wait a minute. It's serious question time. Why is it surprising anybody when it comes out that I haven't seen something at this point?
It's surprising that you don't know the reference, not that you haven't necessarily seen it.
Okay, to be fair, anything that was a TV series in the 70s or 80s, there has been a movie of in the last 20 years.
Well, there's no Welcome Back, Kotter.
I'm just gonna go smoke a cigarette now.
Yeah. Anyways,
I heard that song on the radio the other day.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks. I'm gonna say thank you to all my guests, to Godless Sewing, who's gone off to do something. Arthur the Swing Temple, Signese, and Purple. And
yeah, no shit.
Thanks to everyone watching and to everyone in the side chat. And
somebody co-sign on my tank loan.
Thank you, everybody, for not paying any attention to that.
And we shall see you next week. Okay, bye for now.
We can't actually see you. That's not how this works.
Bye. I'll be on in 4 hours.